I was driving home late one night, coming back from a friend's party in New Orleans. The roads were nearly empty, the streetlights flickering as if they were struggling to stay awake. I had just turned onto a long, quiet stretch of highway when I saw her. A woman standing on the side of the road. She was tall, thin, and wearing a flowing red dress. Her skin was dark as midnight, her hair long and wild, almost moving on its own. She wasn't hitchhiking. She wasn't walking. She was just standing there. I don't know why, but I slowed down. Something about her felt wrong, like she was waiting for something or someone. As I passed, she turned her head ever so slightly, and then she smiled. It wasn't a normal smile, it was too wide, too knowing. And that's when I realized I could see the highway through her. She wasn't solid, she wasn't human. My foot slammed the gas pedal. My heart was pounding, hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I didn't dare look in the rearview mirror. I just kept driving. And then my phone buzzed, a text from my best friend. "Where are you? Something bad happened. Call me." My stomach twisted. I pulled over at a gas station, hands shaking as I dialed her number. When she answered, her voice was shaky, terrified. "You're not gonna believe this," she whispered. "There was an accident. Right after you left, Trey is dead." My blood ran cold. Trey was another friend from the party. He had left just a few minutes after me, taking the same highway. He crashed his car into a tree, died on impact. And then my best friend said something that made my breath catch in my throat. A witness saw it happen. They said Trey swerved off the road. He told them he saw something. A woman in a red dress standing in the middle of the highway. I couldn't breathe. I saw her, and I knew, deep in my bones, if I had stopped, if I had looked at her for too long, it would have been me. Some say she's a warning. Some say she's a death omen. But I don't know if she warns you or chooses you. All I know is, if you ever see the woman in the red dress standing alone on a dark road, don't stop, don't look back, and whatever you do, don't smile back. I was never one to believe in hoodoo or curses, but that was before I stole from the wrong man. It happened in a small Louisiana town, the kind where everyone knows each other, and the streets always feel like they're hiding secrets. I was passing through, low on gas, and even lower on cash, when I spotted it. An old antique shop tucked between two boarded-up buildings. The sign above the door was half-faded. Papa Cleophas's Curiosities. I wasn't planning to buy anything. Hell, I could barely afford a meal. But something drew me in. The shop smelled like old wood and something bitter, something that made the hairs on my arms stand up. Shelves lined with jars, bones, strange dolls with stitched-up mouths. At the counter sat an old man, his skin wrinkled like aged leather, his eyes sharp as knives. "You lookin' or buyin'?" he asked, voice deep and slow. "Just looking," I said, but my eyes landed on something that made my breath hitch. A gold pocket watch. It wasn't flashy, wasn't covered in jewels, just simple, old, and somehow important. Something about it called to me. "That ain't for you," the old man said, his voice suddenly harder. But I was desperate and greedy. When he turned his back, I grabbed the watch and slid it into my pocket. And that's when I heard him say it. Low, slow, a whisper, but powerful. "You done sealed your fate, boy." I ran out of the shop, heart pounding. Didn't stop until I was miles away. That night I dreamed of Papa Cleophas. He stood at the foot of my bed, eyes black as coal, lips moving, chanting. I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. I tried to shake it off. Just guilt, I told myself. Just a bad dream. But then, the watch started ticking. I hadn't wound it. Hadn't touched it since the shop, but now it ticked louder, faster, and that's when the bad luck started. First, my car broke down in the middle of nowhere. Then I lost my wallet, got mugged. My body felt weaker by the day, like something was draining me. And every night, I dreamed of him, standing closer, whispering more words I couldn't understand. Until one night, I finally did. Time's up. I woke up choking. Something was in my throat. I ran to the mirror and coughed hard, and that's when it came out. A piece of gold. Number not just gold. The gears of the pocket watch. They were inside me, growing. I drove back to the town as fast as I could, but when I got there, the shop was gone, like it had never existed. Now I hear the ticking everywhere, inside me. I don't sleep. I don't eat. I can feel something moving beneath my skin. And I know I don't have much time left, because when the watch stops ticking, so will my heart. I was 22, broke and desperate. My mother was sick and hospital bills were piling up. I had nowhere to turn until I heard about a man who could fix problems for a price. They called him Mr. Hollow. I was warned. People whispered that he wasn't normal, that he only appeared when you were at your lowest, that his deals always came due. But I was too desperate to care. The night I met him, the air was thick with humidity, and the street lights flickered like they were afraid of the dark. I was sitting outside an old gas station, head in my hands, when a long shadow stretched over me. Tough night, son. I looked up. He was tall. Too tall. Dressed in a black suit that looked older than time, skin pale like the moon. His smile was wide, too wide, like it had been carved into his face. "You look like a man in need of a little luck," he said, his voice as smooth as silk. I didn't ask who he was. I already knew. "I need money," I admitted. "A lot of it." He grinned. "That's easy." And just like that, he handed me a coin. "Spend it once," he said, "and you'll always have enough, no matter what." I hesitated. "And the catch?" His grin widened. "You pay me back when I come collect." I should have asked what that meant. I should have walked away, but I didn't. I took the coin. The next day, I spent it on a coffee. When I reached into my pocket, the coin was there again. I tried it again, bought lunch. The coin came back. Every time I spent it, it returned. Within a week, my life had changed. I paid my mother's bills, moved us into a new house. People in town noticed. I was rich overnight. And then, exactly 1 year later, at midnight, Mr. Hollow came back. I was alone in my room when I heard the knock. Slow, deliberate. I opened the door, and there he stood, smiling like he'd never left. "Time to settle up, son." I swallowed hard. "What do you want?" His grin stretched, his shadow curling against the walls like it was alive. "Your body," he said. A chill ran down my spine. "What? You spent my coin," he said, tilting his head. "Now, I take my payment." I backed away. "That wasn't the deal." His black eyes gleamed. "Oh, but it was. You just never asked what you'd owe." I ran, but no matter where I went, he was always there, in the corner of my vision, in the reflection of dark windows, watching, waiting. I tried to throw the coin away. It came back. I burned it. It didn't melt. And now, every night at midnight, I hear him knocking, slow, patient, waiting for me to open the door, because one day, I won't have a choice. And when I do, he'll take what's his.